David, you keep talking about the 360 workflow having an extra step called reframing. What does that mean and how do you do it? Great question. Let's talk about that today. Today was going to be a comparison test between the Insta360 One X2 and the GoPro Max, because when I made my video about the One X2, everybody kind of said like, well, there's been so many updates to the GoPro Max. How does the GoPro Max compare to the One X2? And I will make that video, but today it's raining in San Diego, and I feel like, I don't know, I just feel like that kind of weather doesn't really scream action camera comparison. So since the weather's poopy today, we're gonna answer this question about how to reframe footage. I'm gonna do it today in my favorite way. You can totally bring it into the apps on the computer. You can do it in Premiere and Final Cut, but the most fun way I think to do it is in the mobile app. And specifically today, we're gonna do it in the Insta360 mobile app. I think the app on the Insta360 is a little bit better. I'll show you, when we do the comparison between these two cameras, I'll show you why I think that is, but today we're just gonna focus on how to do it in the Insta360 app, because I think it's fun. I think it's actually fun to do in the app. Before we jump into that though, hit that like button below. It is so helpful for this channel when you hit that like button. It's like you saying, hey, I like what you do. I'd like to see more of it. Like button. Thank you. And today's video is sponsored by, well, it's sponsored by me. It's sponsored by the merch shop. Go shoot over to the merch shop, pick yourself up a t-shirt, pick yourself up a hoodie, maybe a sweet sticker. These are those like vinyl stickers where like it's just the letter on there, you know, like you put it on and then you peel off the top part. Yeah, head over there, grab yourself a t-shirt, hoodie, sticker, helps the channel, helps make more videos like this one. Okay, so the 360 workflow is a little different than kind of a normal camera's workflow or a normal action camera's workflow. With a normal facing action camera, the workflow is basically you go out and you shoot, and while you shoot, you're pointing the camera at things, right? Like if I'm snowboarding down a hill and my buddy's next to me, I'm pointing the camera at myself, and then he's gonna go off a jump, so I go, whoa, and I point it at him, and then he lands the jump, and then I point it back at me, and I'm like, oh, that was so cool. But if I was pointing at me, and he went off a jump, and I didn't turn the camera to him, and I only stayed on me, I could never get that back, right? Like I could never change where I was pointing the camera in post. So again, with a normal action camera, I film and choose where I'm pointing. I then import that footage into my computer. Then I can drop it into Premiere or Final Cut and just start editing right like that. That's the normal workflow. But with a 360 camera, what you're doing is you're filming, you're going out and you're filming that whole sequence where I'm riding and my buddy goes off a jump and I'm like, yeah, that's so awesome. And I never have to think about where I'm pointing the camera. But what I do have to do is in post, I have to tell it where to look, where the camera should be pointing at what time. So the 360 workflow is basically, I go out and I film, let's say a 10-minute clip. Well, then I have to take that 10-minute clip, either import it onto my phone to reframe or import it onto my computer, bring it into the Insta360 app, or Premiere and Final Cut both have a plugin where you can do this. Then I have to spend at least 10 minutes to reframe that footage, to tell that footage where to look during that 10 minutes. Then I have to export that, and then I can start editing that footage. So time-wise, 360 is at least twice as long of a workflow process before you've actually imported the footage as a regular action camera. Now, is that worth it? In my opinion, again, this is my favorite action camera, it's totally worth it. The shots that you get out of it are just so much cooler, so much better than what you get out of a normal action camera. I like normal action cameras for certain things, but for almost anything I'm doing, like action sports or like even just riding my skateboard, I'm gonna choose the 360 camera. Even when I was doing the comparison between the Osmo Action and the GoPro, the last video, all I kept thinking when I was editing it was, damn, this would have looked really cool on the 360 camera. So with the 360 camera, you get cooler shots, the pole's not in the shot, and you never miss the shot. As long as you can see the camera, it can see you. Okay, so now though, let's actually get into the how. What is this reframing process? And for this one, I'm gonna do it on the app because again, the app, it's a fun experience. You'll see why here in a minute. All right, so we're gonna pop into the Insta360 app and I'm gonna turn on my One X2. Ba-ba-bum. All right, so this guy's turned on, and in the app, I'm just gonna tap on the camera function. It's gonna connect. Please choose the camera. Connecting to this camera. All right, beautiful. So I am connected. I'm gonna go into album and camera, and now I can see all the files that are already on this camera. Now, the big difference, and we'll get into this more when we do the comparison between these two cameras, is that with the GoPro in the app, you have to take all the files and download them to your phone before you can start reframing them and doing all that. With the Insta360, what they updated, this is a more recent update, is the files can stay on the camera. I don't have to take this whole step of first transferring the files and then I can reframe. I can reframe these video clips while they're still on the camera. It's a major time saver. We'll go into it more when we compare these two cameras, but it's big. All right, so let's go into one of these. This is from Park City. So this is that clip that started the last video. So if we get a little bit further up, you'll recognize it. Right there, that's the beginning of the last video on the 1X2. So now in the app here, I can trim the clip. So this is an 11-minute clip. It would take me 11 minutes to edit it. But if I just wanted to do maybe one part of this video, like I want to do the part where we're bombing down the hill, I'll just skip ahead to it. So I'm gonna say we're gonna start this clip right here and then move forward to the part where I want it to end. We'll go through the trees. Let's go have some fun. And we'll just say, as soon as I pop out of the trees, we'll end this clip. All right, so that's as much as I'm choosing to reframe at this point. Hit yes on the trim, and now we have a 3-minute clip. So now the reframing process is only gonna take me 3 minutes. Now I can always go back in, I can change that up. Now I can say, hey, now I wanna do all 11 minutes. That's kind of the fun with this, is the 360 file. Think of it more like a raw file, because I can even change. So right now it's 16 by 9. I could be like, doop, now it is 9 by 16. And now it's ready to go for Instagram or TikTok or whatever else you're doing. And I could take the same clip, I could do it all 16 by 9, and then I could export it as a video. Then I could go back, switch it to 9 by 16, and re-export that same clip as a 9 by 16. It's just so dang clever. You have so many more options in post. Okay, let's get to the fun one though. I'll do it in 9 by 16 because that way it'll fill up the entire frame and that'll look cooler. All right, so I'm gonna kind of look to where I first want to start this. I'm gonna hit the little plus sign at the bottom here, and what we're gonna use is something called the viewfinder mode. And for this, one really handy thing to have on hand is a swivel chair. You'll see why in a second, but a swivel chair is ideal for reframing Insta360 or GoPro, whatever, 360 footage in general. Get yourself a 360 chair, a swivel chair. Okay, so I'm gonna tap viewfinder, and now I am in viewfinder mode. And you can see, so watch the screen here and watch, I'll put the clip here. As I move the phone, what I see on the screen changes. So now in my swivel chair, I could turn all the way around and I could see everything in this 360 world. I am in the 360 bubble that this camera recorded. And I'm now telling this where I want it to record. So I'm gonna hit this red button and that's gonna start recording my reframed clip. Now, if I press and I hold, that's how I record this whole thing. If I slide it to the left, I'm gonna zoom in while recording. And if I slide to the right, I'm gonna zoom out while recording. You'll see how this happens. I'll just do about a minute of it here, but I'm gonna sit in my swivel chair because as I turn, I'm gonna be moving, because as I move to the camera, I have to move this to keep myself in the middle. That makes sense? You'll see, this will make sense. All right, so here we go, starting. I'm gonna tap and hold the red button. We've started recording. I gotta move. So I'm basically filming myself right now. I'm telling it, if I wanna go wider, I can move to the right, slide my thumb to the right, and I get this wider shot. And if I wanted to get a tighter shot, I move my thumb to the left, I get a tighter shot. And, whoop, little jump, here's where I almost fall, whop. And let's go super wide just for kicks. Beautiful. And I can let go of my thumb. If I let go, I pause the recording. So I can tap again and I could restart and continue recording this clip. Now, when I'm doing this, I could look at myself, and then if maybe my buddy was right in front of me, I could turn and look at him, turn back and look at myself. We'll do that real quick. All right, so now I'm filming myself, and then if I wanted it to look forward or I wanted to look at my brother-in-law there, I just turn and I just film him. And now I'm filming him for a second, and I can turn back to myself. This is the whole process. So again, if I film a 10-minute clip, I sit here for 10 minutes and I record and I tell it where to look, when to look. So if someone went off a cool jump, I would know that that's coming. I would be filming this way, and then I would go whoop and turn to record that thing and then turn back. And if I miss it, I could always just delete that part, go back and try again. Again, like it's almost like I have like a raw file here, and now I'm telling it where I want this camera to actually look in post. Very clever. All right, let's do a little more. And let's go super wide. And you can do the whole tiny planet thing where you just keep getting wider and wider, and you get this really, I don't know. Some people like that. I am not a fan of that. I like 360 cameras because of the idea that it looks like a normal camera, but without a pole, and I can change where it looks in post. But some people like the whole tiny planet thing. All right, here we go, going through. Get like a tight shot in there. Now let's go wide. And go super wide. Let's go back forward and see what it looks like going through the trees. Get a cool shot of what I'm seeing. Go back. That right there, that moment is when I got stuck in a tree. Yeah, there. Coming down. Yeah, that's how you do reframing in the app through the viewfinder mode. Okay, but there is another way to reframe, and this is perfect for this kind of situation, because it's really what I want is I just want the camera to always look at me through my entire snowboard run. So if I go ride for 10 minutes, I pretty much just want a shot of me and then be able to export that, right? So a really cool feature that Insta360 has on there is something called Deep Track. So I'm gonna hit plus here, I'm gonna tap on Deep Track, boom, and now I'm gonna draw a box around where I want the camera to look. So I'm gonna draw a box around me, it's got me, I hit start tracking, and now instead of having to reframe this whole time, I'm just gonna let the app run the clip. Again, if it's a 10-minute clip, it's still gonna take 10 minutes for the app to do this, but the app is going to track me, the subject, the entire time. So now I don't have to sit here in my chair doing this. I just say, yeah, I want a clip where this films me the whole time. So it's not so much that it speeds the process up, because you still have to pull up the clip on the app and then go through this tracking process and then export it, and then you can import it into Premiere, but it does make it a whole lot easier. I've been chatting with you guys while it is doing the tracking for me. And that's another reason why I'm so excited about Insta360 is that they're doing a lot of stuff like this. They're really working to make 360 video, the whole process, the whole workflow, almost as easy as a normal action camera. And by the way, the pole isn't in the shot. You never miss a shot as long as you can see the camera, and you can go back and take one shot and reframe it 10 different ways. I'm gonna hit stop tracking on that. It'll go back. But now you can see that we go back here and the entire clip, it looks at me the entire time. It has tracked me in that clip. And same thing, I can pause that. I can switch this to 16:9. I could switch this to 1:1 if I wanted a square video. You can even do, if you're making a film, a real film, you could do 235/100. Ooh, look at that. That is so cinematic. Except me screaming in the woods, of course. And then the next step in this mobile process is, I think, easier for me because I export it to my phone and then I just airdrop all the files to my computer. So now, yeah, I kind of went straight from here to my computer pretty simply. And the reframing process for me, I really like the viewfinder mode just because, I don't know, it feels like VR, like you're in like a VR world and you're filming in VR. So I really like that. And then the deep track, yeah, the deep track has just made life easy, honestly. It's made this whole process just so much better. Okay, so the wrap up here is yes, if you are shooting with a 360 camera, you're looking at double the filming time that you had a normal action camera. So if I have this guy and I go film for 30 minutes of footage, import to the computer. If I have one of these guys, 30 minutes of filming plus 30 minutes of reframing, some extra time to export that reframing, and then you can import it to your computer and start editing. So just know that yes, there's extra time, but in my opinion, what's that saying? The juice is worth the squeeze. If you want to shoot 360, the juice is worth the squeeze. All right, I'll see you guys soon. We will do this comparison hopefully next week if it's sunny, because I want a sunny day to go ride my skateboard. And until then, I hope this taught you something. Again, if you're not in the 360 world, hopefully this kind of showed you at least like what that would mean to get a 360 camera. And if you have an Insta 360, hopefully I just taught you about Viewfinder, because Viewfinder's rad. It's like a game. You're in a game, a filming game. All right, I'll see you soon. Yeah. You started a little.
I think. No, we're good. Speaking of.
That almost made me short a little bit. Still recording?